What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Freedom File. I'm Joseph Buliga, and today we have a very, very special guest, social media conservative influencer, also the news host of the Benny Report on Newsmax. Please welcome Benny Johnson. Benny, I thank you for taking the time to come on the Freedom File and just talk politics.
What's up, guys? You got the Freedom File here. You got Joseph, such a patriot. Okay, Joseph, he's got his flag. He's got his Oregon Ducks. I can see right there, the logo. Maybe say looks like some windshield wiper fluid right up there. And this guy's like just living the dream. Well, I gotta get out of DC. I gotta come, to Oregon.
Yeah,
you can't even fly a flag like that in DC. That's illegal.
I don't know if you could do it in downtown Portland either.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see.
These scumbags. Hey, can we talk about that for a second?
Go ahead. Let's do it.
These scumbags, sorry, you might have to bleep that, but I'm so upset. I have not seen a single conservative who hasn't disavowed the lawless behavior and the rioting behavior that was disgraceful this week in Washington, D.C., right?
Yep.
So I haven't seen a single conservative, myself being one of them, saying we denounce this behavior and the people who use it. This is communist tactics. We don't want to be the commies, right? But show me, I went to Portland, show me the Democrat who denounced what was happening in Portland for 100 days in a federal building. 100 days. Sorry to come in hot here, but since we're going to talk, let's just go. I was reviewing I went and filmed an episode there for my show. I went to Portland. I saw it with my own two eyeballs. These scumbags and these absolute communists, and I just call them what they are. Domestic terrorists, okay? Like these guys attacked a federal building. Okay, so look, what's the same? Let's go same here. Attacked a federal building, harmed police officers, sent them to the hospital, and this is a building, a federal building under siege. Bombings, I saw it with my own eyes. The building was in tatters, fire bombs. There were flames on the side of it. You could see the glass smashed. But I didn't see a single leftist denouncing this behavior. I didn't see a single one. I'm happy to be wrong. I actually would like to be wrong. If you can show me Nancy Pelosi or Joe Biden who was saying this is wrong, but man, it's sickening.
It is sickening.
Double standard.
Exactly, double standard is very prevalent. In the Liberal Party, Joe Biden believes that Antifa is an idea, and just looking in the city of Portland. There's clear evidence right in front of you that this is an organization. Their tactics are brutal, and they're not anti-fascist. They are fascist. They are communists. This is not, this is not a painted picture. This is right in front of your face. Let's talk about the Capitol a little bit. You were actually there, at the Trump rally. What exactly happened? Because there has been some videos surfacing on social media that have showed that it was Antifa that broke the barricade, that went in, that were breaking windows. And actually, there's videos of Trump supporters even holding him back. And I want to make something clear that any of the Trump supporters, any of the conservative people that went into the building that participated in any violence, I denounce. It was wrong. Political violence in any form is wrong. So take it away. What did you see at the Capitol?
So the one thing I will not do is speculate on exactly who was doing this, because there were, to my estimation, and as far as the photos and news reports, you can see hundreds, if not thousands of people doing this. And so to categorize all of them is wrong. Also, to use that group of people and then to reflectively say that that represents 75 million Americans who voted for Donald Trump is wrong. That didn't even remotely reflect the Is it 1 million people who showed up for the march? I'm not sure. I think it's hundreds of thousands. I was there. Again, like, it's very important to be able to see these things with your own two eyes. So I was there. I was at the march. I wandered around for 7 hours. It was a huge march. It essentially took up the entire city, right? Every street, every road. What I saw was exactly what happened in hundreds of MAGA rallies across the country. Exactly the same thing I saw in dozens of states when I attended MAGA rallies and saw them for myself. You saw people who love their country, people who are patriots, people who are upset at a system, but are practicing within their constitutional rights. They are practicing their ability to peacefully protest and to redress their government of grievances. It's right there in the First Amendment. That's what it says you're allowed to do. To peacefully protest, to say what you want, to redress your government of grievances. That's an exact quote of the First Amendment. And that happened throughout the entire country. And it happened in D.C. The small group of troublemakers who broke off and then behaved criminally are now being prosecuted criminally. Prosecuted how? They're being prosecuted under the laws that Trump signed, executive orders, that Trump signed. The order about desecration of national monuments is most likely going to be used. I'm not a prosecutor, but is most likely going to be used to put these guys away for a long time. It's President Trump who signed that order. And so to say that he is in favor of desecration of monuments, I mean, that's just bizarro world insane. But I think that it's so important to separate the two groups of people, the criminals and the people who are behaving criminally, and the people who are behaving peacefully. Exactly. And I'm okay doing that even with like BLM. Like there were lots of people who were marching, but the people who I'm really upset with were the criminals, the people who are behaving criminally. And you have to be able to condemn that. If you can't condemn it, Joseph, we're going to have more of this. And that's what's so sad, is that both sides have to own their own problem and their own problems. And that's why I have been enheartened. I've been happy to see conservatives roundly disavow this behavior and the people who engage in it. That's good. The left needs to do that when leftist marches behave like this. When those people break off and destroy businesses and loot and kill and besiege federal courthouses for 100 days in your state.
Exactly. And, let's talk about the left's double standard here, the media bias, because this was, obviously all violence from either side is wrong. But when they blow this thing out of proportion, the media, Trump created a video and told everybody to be peaceful, to go home. And they ended up taking that video down off of all platforms. And, for the left to do this, why weren't they actually CNN, for example, they said this is a peaceful protest in their on the headline, and in the background, a building is on fire. Right. The double standard is ridiculous. I had an audience question here. Why does the left always seem to get away with things? Why are they never held accountable?
Because there is a double standard of justice in this country, and it's going to tear the country apart. There's a double standard of justice in America, and it doesn't matter if you're spying on an incoming president or whether you are deleting emails en masse, if you're Secretary of State, or if you are rioting in the street. It is so – think about the message that's being sent to someone who wants to start a business in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and wants to invest. I can tell you starting a business, a small business, is really hard. And the message that's being sent is that someone can go walk into your business, not walk in, obviously. The business is locked. Your door is locked. You have a security system. Someone can take a brick, smash your window, steal all your stuff, burn your business to the ground, and no one's going to fight for you. And then no one's going to be held accountable. Yeah, this is really, really a horrible, and this is a horrible message to send to people, but most importantly, the people who create our communities and build the fabric of America in these small towns. I'm from a small town. The entire town of Cedar Rapids, Iowa is little small businesses. And if you're a small business owner these days, you don't have protectors. And it's something that really is coming home to roost for conservatives. The issue with Republicans and the way that we message is that we do not take the moral high ground and effectuate change. When we had the moral high ground and the ability to really beat the drum about how violent these mobs were this summer. We didn't do it, and our leaders didn't do it. And you have, and now, now in our current environment, then it is being used as an opportunity to say that both, that both sides are equal, or that the left has never done this, which is absurd, and it's not helpful. So it really is an issue and something we got to get better at.
Exactly, and this type of stuff only happens in communist countries. And I want to talk a little bit about the censorship that's going on. I'm going to try to wrap this up quickly because I know you got to go. But recently we saw President Trump. He got.
I'm going to move my camera. I can see like the sun. The sun is like.
Oh, you're totally fine.
All right.
No worries.
There you go.
Like I was saying, President Trump has been removed from Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Like I said, this stuff only happens in communist countries. What needs to be fixed? Why is this country's heading down a dangerous path? The left talks about, Joe Biden talks about wanting to unite the country, and 75 million Americans voted for President Trump, and currently he is still the president of the United States. Why is big tech censoring conservatives?
So I think you have to take a step back and recognize that. I think everyone needs to take a step back here and recognize, I think, two major flaws in what how conservatives have engaged with big tech in the past, and how we have to do it going forward. So the first major flaw is not thinking that the alligator is going to eat all, like, us last, like that. Like that when we first allowed the censorship to happen, that it was just Alex Jones or Laura Loomer, or Milo, and that it'll stop with them. They are crazy. They would never censor like mainstream people or the president of the United States. That's insane. And here we are today with Blaze journalists like Elijah Schaffer being censored or completely deplatformed. You have General Flynn deplatformed, and obviously the president of the United States deplatformed. Yes, you do not, like, appeasing the alligator so it will eat you last. The alligator will eat all of us. And so it's really important to recognize that no one is safe, and you just playing by the rules means the alligator is going to eat you last. Maybe you're still getting eaten. You're done for. And so right now the lines have been drawn, and the lines have been drawn on big tech as to who is in favor of the constitutional rights of Americans and who is going to behave like all tyrants always behave. So the reason we have a country is rebelling against tyrants who specifically silenced our voices. If you look at the Declaration of Independence, too few people read our founding documents, Joseph. That's a real problem. Declaration of Independence, what is it? What is it? What is the Declaration? It is a long list of all the stuff that they about for the king.
Yep.
It is just this list. It's this long list. It's like they're just like and then. And all it is, what these guys had done is they had been asking about these problems for years. For years. They had been begging to be listened to. They had been begging to have their voice heard. And every time there's a line in the Declaration of Independence, at the very end, it said, like, we have humbly asked you to just hear us on this stuff. And we've been met with repeated injury. What the king would do is that he would be offended that they were even like asking, and then he'd like raise the taxes or more tariffs, right? So So when you're not heard, when you're not able to speak, you have a breakdown. You have a societal breakdown, and that's what a tyrant takes away free speech. So right now, yes, tech platforms have proven and shown what some of us have known for a very long time, that they are tyrannical, that they will gladly shred our constitutional rights and civil liberties, and that they just don't care anymore who it is that they're doing this to. And there are no rules. And so Republicans missed their shot at bringing these people to heel. And now is the time to really consider, our options and moving forward. Free speech platforms, that's great. But what happens when Apple takes Parler off their phones?
Exactly.
And that's okay. So now the most popular cell phone in America doesn't use your platform. won't be able to use your platform. I mean, what happens next? And so it is a moment where we can say, okay, you all are the tyrants. You all behave like Stalin and Mao and Hitler and Mussolini and everyone else who bans free speech. And you ban free speech because you're tyrants. And so we won't be, negotiating or platforming with tyrants.
Yeah. And quickly, I want to, just look at the education system in the United States of America, because, the saying goes, those who don't know the history are doomed to repeat it, right? I feel that the education system with the radical leftist teachers, the propaganda that is happening in the schools of America, I believe that is a start to what has, led to what is happening today. That is not a hate on the, the American system, but there are flaws within it that do need to be fixed. And it starts how we're educating the younger generation. How, people all over in these leftist cities like Portland, Seattle, Washington, D.C., what can people do to stand up to this?
Don't send your kid to college. That's what I'd say. I mean, that's what I intend on doing. I'm like, I want my child. I'm a parent now. I'm going to take. I'm going to go on a stroller ride with my kid actually pretty soon here.
I'm going to try to wrap it up quickly for you. I'm sorry,
but yeah, I'm not. I would much rather. My daughter learn a trade and a skill, and learn in an apprenticeship role. Like find what she loves to do. And maybe, my wife's a nurse. And so maybe that will take a technical school to learn that trade or that skill. Exactly. But just sending our youth in mass to college to figure it out isn't working. The only thing that's being figured out is Marxism in Marxist training camps, which is what what the majority of collegiate schools really are now. And I refuse to let my child be a part of that system. And so I think a much better way is to teach kids skills. Mike Rowe obviously is a wonderful advocate for this. But with what we do, we make content, videos, social media. We produce.
You do a fantastic job.
This is a skill, and it's a very highly marketable skill, and it's great. And the people who work on our teams are the best in the business, and they have a wonderful life because they know how to edit or run a camera or write, and that's a skill. And frankly, they didn't need to learn that in college. You could just learn. You can apply yourself and watch YouTube videos, frankly, for a lot of this stuff, and just apply yourself and learn that. And so, much like what the Freedom File does, self-starters and enjoying our wonderful system in America where you can start from nothing and really, really become something. So, stop sending communist indoctrination camps.
Exactly. And, that's where it starts in the United States because, there's this idea that there's this, quote unquote, white privilege and that, everything needs to be given to people without working for it. And in the United States, we need to start teaching the youth, especially the youth. And you do a great job educating people on all your social media platforms. But people need to understand that nothing is given to you. Everything is earned. Freedom isn't free. And it really truly starts there. That's the true American values. I know you have to go, so I'm going to wrap this up here. But just some kind words from our followers. They really do love what you do. They really love your content. I love your content. I got to say hi for my co-host too. Anthony wanted to say hi, so I'm going to say that hi for him.
Hey, Anthony, what's going on, man?
And then I can't even believe it now. I'm interviewing Benny Johnson right here in front of me, right? It's
guys, keep memeing. Keep memeing. It's more important than ever. Keep memeing. Keep fighting. Obviously, do it within the bounds of the Constitution, which allows you actually the most freedom that anyone has had in human history. Exactly. So appreciate those freedoms and then utilize them. And we can, America is never lost. That's what's most important. America is never lost. This country in its short period of time has been through a lot. Yep. And we've gotten through it. And we've gotten through it because people adhered to our values. That's what the Civil War was. It was the culmination of the Declaration of Independence and the freedoms promised to all people under God. And Americans do the right thing. Americans love each other, and we love this country. And so it is absolutely imperative now more than ever to make dank memes about how great America is.
Exactly. Well, Benny, I want to, remind everybody that's watching this, with all the stuff that's happening with the election, with all the protests, God is still in control.
Yes.
He has it. It's all part of his plan. But Benny, I want to thank you once again for, following us, taking the time to do this interview. It means a lot to the Freedom File, and, keep up the great work. And, if you haven't followed our social media, you can find us at the Freedom File on Instagram, Facebook, Parler. Please also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We didn't get it to everything that I wanted to ask Benny, but that's totally fine. We're thankful for what we were able to accomplish. So thank you, Benny. Really do appreciate it. Take care.
We'll be back soon. All right. Thank you.
And I hope we could do this again. We got to do it again. You're an awesome guy.
My man. All right. Bye-bye.